Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Diamond Select Toys, the Nightmare Before Christmas Sally action figure. Diamond Select was certainly not the first to get the licensing for Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, very notable companies have all handled the Nightmare Before Christmas licensing, whether it be June Planning or also NECA was a big producer of Nightmare Before Christmas figures. Now, Diamond Select is taking they're throwing their proverbial name into the hat and releasing some, what so far looks to be pretty spectacular looking figures. As for the packaging itself, we've got the carryover of the spiral motif. That's a very common sight with the Nightmare Before Christmas. Now this is all packaged in red with Sally down below. The side of the box, side of the package, so to speak, has Sally on the side there. And on the back, a read-up says, Sally is a rag doll made from various body parts and stuffed with leaves, and she lives in Halloween Town. The stitched-together creation of Dr. Finkelstein, she is locked up at night and rarely allowed to go off on her own. But her love for Jack Skellington and her concern over his plans cause her to defy the Doctor, leaping from her high window and even drugging him with a deadly nightshade. Can she stop Jack from ruining Christmas and save Santa Claus? Time will tell. Collect the other figures. Of course, the first wave consisted of Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie. To check out more from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys, you can go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up, but when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Diamond Select Nightmare Before Christmas Sally. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. As you can probably guess, Sally does come with a lot of accessories. We'll touch base on these individually, but first things first, let's have a look at this really cool display stand that comes with her. You've got like a cobblestone or stone wall with the stone flooring as well. That gray, consistent color scheme that comes over from all the, really all the aspects of the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. I've already gone ahead and installed the gate. It just tabs into the bottom and tabs into the side there. It looks like it wants to be one half of a much bigger diorama. And then the one thing I also did not add was this little kitty cat. And I'm assuming that the kitty cat just pegs into the top just like that. And you got yourself a pretty cool looking diorama. We're also looking at the guide here of some of the other things that Diamond Select is producing. 16-inch coffin dolls. But then you can see these select figures there. It doesn't look like Sally connects necessarily to anything else right at the minute, because Jack Skellington comes with his very own display stand or diorama scene that doesn't quite go with Sally. So I don't know, maybe if there's going to be another figure that's going to finish off the rest of the diorama. But as it stands right now, these are the 3 figures currently being released. And then on the back, we've got some mini mates going on there as well. I'd like to still go and pick those up. I only picked up a couple in the blind bags. I ended up with a couple of reindeer and Sally. Gotta still get myself Jack. So really I like the diorama action going on here. Really cool, really cool. Sally also comes with a display stand, just a basic black stand. And she also has a little adjustable neck. Well, I'll make sure I put it in the right way here. Just like that. And you've got yourself an adjustable neck. It's quite posable too. There's a posable knuckle joint at the bottom. There's a posable joint mid, and there's a joint at the top there. Oh, and also, this one has the, nope, this one does not have it. This just rotates. So it's pretty cool. I will say this figure, and probably a lot of the Nightmare Before Christmas figures, at least of the lankier design, will need this. Sally struggles to get to properly stand, and my guess is, I haven't picked up Jack yet, my guess is Jack will be exactly the same way. The construction of the doll is pretty cool. Like, Sally looks decent. She looks like she was taken right out of the movie. Like with NECA's releases, and I'm just kind of comparing it to NECA and June Planning. June Planning, I think, was the weakest of all the companies to release Nightmare Before Christmas figures. They were okay, But NECA, I think, still released solid figures, and I can see real strong potential for Diamond Selects as well. But the problem is, because these figures are so skinny and lanky, she does not stand at all on her own. In fact, if I could get her to balance, that will be a blessing. But she does not stand. And the main culprit is, we look at the joints of the legs. Her elbows, let's actually touch base on the elbow first. The elbow, if I rotate the joint here, see if I can actually rotate it here. The joint is just a straight swiveled hinge. Just rotates left and right, which by nature theoretically would work fine for an elbow. There's no stopping point, if that makes any sense, to the elbow. It can go either way. That's fine. The problem is the legs have the same problem. The legs hinge forward and back. I guess for the sense of posability, they've done it this way, but it makes the figure's legs loose. This leg's not so bad. This leg's a little on the looser side. So while a gorgeous looking figure, to say the least, she sadly does not stand very well on her own. Also would have been kind of cool if they had included interchangeable heads. Being that this is stop motion, of course, each character would have had tons of different interchangeable heads depending on their expression. And maybe, I don't know, if they had given us just perhaps one extra head, I think that would have been kind of cool too. Sally only has the default head that you see right here. I must say I'm quite impressed with what they ended up doing with the figure, and while I'm not super thrilled with the joint in the leg, I think a very solid looking look to Sally. It does look like she was taken right out of the movie. The dress, quite nice, stitched together, just ragtag bunch of different fabrics stitched together. Really, the dress mirrors Sally in that regard. I mean, she's stitched together, her arms stitched together, even like her face are all areas that are just stitched together. There is, if you move her hair out of the way, there is a hole, you see right there on the back, so you can take the display stand and we just adjust this. Display stand pegs right into her back. It's a little difficult at times, there we go. And the display stand really certainly comes in handy for displaying her, because she does not, as mentioned, she does not stand well at all on her own. If you don't really mind the fact that she's going to have a big glaring neck attached to her back, I think this is a preferred look for displaying her. It just will make things a lot easier, and of course you're not going to have the risk of her toppling over on you. One of the other things that you can do, which is really neat, we'll unpeg her for a second. And we'll just return this back to its neck. There we go. What you can also do too, I'm just going to move her arms just out of the way for a second. You can also take her torso and unpeg it. Just basically take her lower torso completely off. Put that to the side. Because Sally also comes with a pre-sculpted, kind of laying down, sculpted lower torso. Carries over the same, in fact, there's the legs right there, carries over the same dress coloring. Nothing's changed there at all. But what you can do is take Sally, pegs very easy in place, and you can have her just laying down. A good look, really, if you have Jack standing next to her, or the two of them could kind of be laying down. I don't actually know if Jack's going to come with an interchangeable lower torso that's going to have something similar, that if you want to have them displayed differently, you can do that. But it's neat that they would have gone that far to give options for displaying her. And as you can see, unpegging and changing out is extremely easy. There's no issues whatsoever. I thought perhaps it would have been a ball joint, and that would have been problematic, especially trying to get a torso off a ball joint. Not always easy, I must say. So when it comes to her posability, Sally does have a ball joint in the top of her head, or really in her head. Hinged shoulders. They rotate fairly easy around. Sometimes it butts up against the back of her hair, but she has a hinge, as we already looked at, a hinge in the elbow. And these are the kind of hinges too that you have to rotate the hinge if you want to bend the arm forward. It's not always an easy task because the joint is so small you have to grab onto the joint to rotate it. She does also have a swivel in the wrist. A swiveled waist only by the virtue of how it's pegged together. And then she has hinged legs, which again you have to rotate depending on how you want the feet posed. Very excited for what is in store for collectors out there when it comes to Nightmare Before Christmas figures. You're always looking for a definitive Nightmare Before Christmas line. I think NECA really was the ones to beat, so to speak, because I mean they released tons of different characters. Basically every character you could think of from the movie they released in figure form. I think Diamond Select has a good start. I really see good potential from the figure line. I'm not crazy on the joint system, the way that they've got the legs jointed, but at the end of the day, I think the figure turned out really good. Spot's going to have a look at Oogie Boogie, and soon, hopefully, I can find Jack Skellington. He was not available at my local comic book store at the time that I picked the other two figures up, but hopefully I will be able to find him as well, because of course, you have Sally, you got to have Jack along with her. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the Diamond Select Toys A Nightmare Before Christmas, Sally. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.